Seniors beware! 9 foods you should never refrigerate. Here's why. Hello there, fabulous home cooks. Before we dive into our countdown, do us a tiny favor. Hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you never miss our kitchen tips, especially the ones that save time and money and keep us seniors savvy. Ready? Let's head to the kitchen. 9. Tomatoes. Tomatoes. Those juicy, sun-kissed beauties of the kitchen. You'd think they'd love a nice chill in the fridge, right? After all, cold keeps most foods fresh. But here's the twist. Refrigeration is a tomato's worst nightmare. The moment they hit that cold air, their delicate cell walls start to break down, turning their once velvety texture into something grainy, watery, and mealy. And that's not all the cold steals. Chilling tomatoes disrupts their natural ripening enzymes, which are what give them that rich, sweet tart flavor and aroma. Once those enzymes are shut down, the flavor doesn't come back, even if you warm them up again. What's left is a tomato that looks perfect on the outside, but tastes like disappointment. So, where do tomatoes actually thrive? On the countertop, at room temperature, away from direct sunlight. Let them breathe. No plastic bags, no sealed containers. If you want to slow ripening slightly, just separate them. One overripe tomato can hurry the others along with ethylene gas. If your tomatoes are getting a bit too ripe, you can always cook them, make a sauce, roast them, or toss them into soup. But for that fresh off the vine flavor, keep them warm, cozy, and far from the fridge. It's the difference between a juicy, flavorful bite and a cold, sad salad. Trust the sunshine, not the crisper drawer. What's next on the list? It's a kitchen favorite that might bring tears to your eyes. Literally. 8. Onions. Get ready for the teary star of number 8. Onions. They might make you cry when you chop them, but storing them in the fridge will make you weep for a whole different reason. Onions are meant for cool, dry air, not the cold, damp humidity of your refrigerator. When you tuck them into that chilly drawer, the moisture quickly turns them soft, slimy, and moldy, and that crisp, zesty bite turns dull and soggy. And here's another unpleasant surprise. Onions are basically scent bombs. In the confined space of a refrigerator, their strong aroma spreads fast. Before you know it, everything in your fridge starts tasting a little oniony. Onion-flavored yogurt, butter, or cake. No thanks. Even sealed containers struggle to block that sulfurous perfume once it gets going. So, what's the right home for these kitchen essentials? Store whole onions in a cool, dark, and well-ventilated area, like a pantry, mesh basket, or even a paper bag with holes punched in it. Airflow is key here. It helps prevent moisture buildup and keeps onions firm for weeks, sometimes even months. One golden rule: keep them away from potatoes. Potatoes release gases and moisture that make onions sprout and spoil faster, while onions speed up potato decay. It's a toxic relationship in pantry terms. And if you've already peeled or sliced an onion, that's the one time refrigeration is fine. Just seal it tightly in an airtight container and use it within a few days. Handle your onions right, and they'll stay crisp, flavorful, and ready to sizzle without turning the rest of your kitchen into a salad bar. Speaking of potatoes, they're next. And trust me, the fridge does weird things to them. 7. Potatoes. Potatoes are pantry royalty, but the fridge is their worst enemy. These humble tubers may look tough, but they're surprisingly sensitive to temperature. Stick them in the fridge, and their chemistry changes for the worse. The cold triggers their starches to convert into sugars, which sounds sweet in theory, until you cook them. That sugar makes potatoes taste oddly sweet and gives them a gritty, unpleasant texture instead of the smooth, fluffy one we all expect. It gets worse in the frying pan. Those extra sugars cause potatoes to brown too quickly, often before the inside is fully cooked. That's why fries made from chilled potatoes tend to burn outside while staying raw inside. It also increases the formation of acrylamide, a compound that appears when sugars and starches react under high heat, something most cooks try to avoid. So where should these spuds live? In a cool, dark, dry spot, like a pantry, cupboard, or basement, somewhere around 45 to 55 degrees Fahrenheit. Too much light, and they'll sprout or turn green. Too much moisture, and they'll rot. A paper bag or open basket gives them room to breathe while keeping humidity low. And here's a pro tip: keep potatoes away from onions. They release gases that cause each other to spoil faster. It's like a bad roommate situation in your pantry. Stored properly, your potatoes will stay firm, flavorful, and ready for whatever's on the menu. Fluffy mashed potatoes, golden fries, or crisp roasted wedges. Your mashed potatoes will stay creamy and your fries crisp, just how they should be. What about bread? Everyone puts that in the fridge, right? Wrong. And here's why at number 6. 6. Bread. Bread may seem safe in the fridge, but that's actually where it goes to die. It's one of the most common kitchen mistakes. People refrigerate bread thinking they're extending its life, when in reality, they're just speeding up its demise. The cold air inside a fridge doesn't just make bread chilly, it changes its chemical structure. The starch molecules inside the loaf crystallize when exposed to low temperatures, sucking out moisture and turning that once soft, fluffy slice into something resembling cardboard. This process, called retrogradation, is the reason your once perfect sandwich bread suddenly feels stiff, dry, and lifeless. And the worst part? It happens up to 6 times faster in the fridge than at room temperature. So while it might seem like refrigeration keeps mold away, you're actually trading freshness for chewiness, and not in a good way. So what's the right move? For loaves you'll eat within a few days, store bread in a bread box, paper bag, or airtight plastic bag on the counter. These options keep just enough humidity inside to stay soft without turning it soggy. If you need long-term storage, the freezer is your best friend. Slice the bread first, wrap it tightly, and when you're ready, pop a piece straight into the toaster. It'll come out tasting nearly as fresh as the day you bought it. No lab coat or science degree required. Avoid the fridge, and your bread will stay soft, springy, and sandwich ready for much longer. Okay, bread's out, but what about fruit? Let's talk bananas at number 5. 5. Bananas. Bananas are tropical by nature, which means they absolutely hate the cold. Think about it. They grow under the sun, not next to the milk and butter. When you put bananas in the fridge, you're basically sending them on a frosty vacation they never asked for. The cold halts the ripening process and turns the peel an unappetizing dark brown or black. The inside, meanwhile, goes from firm and creamy to a strange mix of mushy outside, hard center, the worst of both worlds. That discoloration might look like rot, but it's not. It's just a chemical reaction in the peel's pigments caused by the chill. Still, most people take one look and toss them out. To keep bananas at their best, store them at room temperature until they're perfectly yellow with a few freckles. Once they hit that sweet spot, you can either eat them, bake them into banana bread, or peel and freeze them for smoothies or snacks. Here's a neat trick. If your bananas are ripening too fast, separate them. Bananas release ethylene gas, a natural plant hormone that speeds up ripening. Keeping them apart slows that process, buying you a few extra days of perfect sweetness. And if you're ever tempted to stick a bunch in the fridge to make them last longer, remember this: cold bananas are great for milkshakes, not fruit bowls. So keep them hanging on a hook or resting on the counter. Your breakfast smoothie, banana bread, and morning cereal will all thank you for it. From fruit to fat, our next item at number 4 is something you drizzle, fry, or dip bread in. 4. Cooking oils. Olive oil, coconut oil, avocado oil. They all hate the fridge. These kitchen essentials may seem like they'd love a little chill, but cold temperatures do weird things to them. Once refrigerated, they thicken, turn cloudy, or even solidify into a strange, waxy paste. It's harmless chemically, but it definitely makes pouring, cooking, or dressing a salad feel like a wrestling match with your bottle. The reason is simple. Oils are made up of different kinds of fats. When exposed to cold air, those fats crystallize at different rates, causing that foggy, lumpy look we call salad dressing sludge. The flavor can also dull a bit, losing that delicate nutty or fruity note that makes good olive oil shine. The best home for your oils? A dark, cool cupboard, ideally away from your stove, since heat speeds up oxidation. Light and air are also sneaky enemies here. Both can make oils go rancid over time, giving them a stale or bitter taste. To fight that off, always tighten the lid after each use and skip the clear bottles if possible. Opaque or tinted containers protect your liquid gold from sunlight. And while some thicker oils like coconut or palm oil naturally solidify below 76 degrees Fahrenheit, there's no need to panic. Just bring them back to room temperature and they'll melt right down without losing any quality. So remember, oils prefer cool and cozy, not cold and frosty. Keep them in your pantry, not the refrigerator, and they'll stay smooth, flavorful, and ready to sizzle whenever you are. Our next one keeps vampires away, but also hates the cold. Number 3 might surprise you. 3. Garlic. Garlic cloves are little flavor bombs, tiny bulbs packed with that unmistakable aroma that transforms any dish from bland to bold. But if you're storing them in the fridge, you're actually sabotaging their superpowers. Cold, damp air might keep some foods fresh, but garlic hates it. Inside a refrigerator, the humidity encourages mold, shriveling, and that dreaded green sprouting that makes cloves taste bitter instead of savory. The secret to keeping garlic fresh and flavorful isn't refrigeration, it's airflow. Whole garlic bulbs prefer a dry, well-ventilated spot, like a mesh bag, paper bag, or open basket in your pantry. This setup lets moisture escape and prevents rot, keeping the cloves firm and aromatic for weeks, even months. Just keep them away from sunlight and heat, which can speed up spoilage. Now, there is one small exception. Once you've peeled, chopped, or minced your garlic, then it's okay to store it in the fridge, but only for a few days, sealed tightly in an airtight container. Freshly cut garlic releases sulfur compounds, which give it that punchy kick, and also make your fridge smell like an Italian restaurant if left uncovered. Here's another tip. If you love to cook, try freezing small portions of minced or pureed garlic in oil. Just remember, oil-garlic mixtures should be used within a few weeks to stay safe. It's a quick way to keep that flavor ready to go. Handled right, your garlic bulbs will stay plump, punchy, and ready to rescue any recipe that needs a little zing. Time for a wake-up call, literally. Number 2 is something many of us can't live without in the morning. 2. Coffee. If you're storing your coffee beans or grounds in the fridge, stop right now. It might seem logical. After all, cold keeps things fresh, right? But coffee is the big exception. Those beautiful beans are flavor sponges, soaking up moisture and odors from everything around them. Garlic, onions, last night's leftovers, your fridge's aroma medley will happily infuse right into your morning brew. The result? A cup that tastes like disappointment with a hint of last night's casserole. The problem isn't just smell, it's moisture. Refrigerators are humid environments, and humidity is coffee's worst enemy. When beans or grounds absorb even a little moisture, their natural oils, the ones responsible for that rich roasted aroma, begin to break down. What you end up with is flat, lifeless coffee that tastes like it was brewed last week. So where should coffee live instead? In an airtight, opaque container kept in a cool, dark cupboard. That simple setup protects it from air, light, and moisture, the 3 villains of freshness. If you buy coffee in bulk, no judgment here, the freezer is your best friend, but with one rule: freeze in small batches. Take out only what you'll use in a week and let it come to room temperature before grinding. That way, you preserve those delicate flavor oils without sacrificing aroma. Handled right, your coffee will reward you with a richer, fresher cup every morning, no fridge funk included. And speaking of rich, sweet, and shelf-stable, we've reached number 1, and it's the sweetest entry on our list. You'll want to hear this one before breakfast. 1. Honey. Honey, nature's original sweetener, is the undefeated fridge-free champion of the pantry. For centuries, it's been prized not just for its flavor, but for its near-miraculous shelf life. Thanks to its low moisture and high sugar content, honey creates an environment where bacteria and mold simply can't survive. It's essentially self-preserving. Sweet, sticky immortality in a jar. But the moment you stash honey in the fridge, that magic chemistry goes sideways. The cool temperature causes it to crystallize, turning that silky golden liquid into a gritty, rock-hard lump. Suddenly, your breakfast toast or tea ritual turns into a workout, with you scraping and prying just to get a spoonful. Refrigeration doesn't make honey safer or fresher, it just makes it stubborn. Instead, keep honey tightly sealed and stored in a cool, dark cabinet, away from direct sunlight or moisture. That's all it needs to stay smooth, golden, and delicious for years. Yes, years. The natural sugars and tiny amounts of hydrogen peroxide inside honey act like built-in preservatives, keeping it edible indefinitely. And if you ever doubted honey's staying power, here's a fact that feels straight out of a history book. Archaeologists once discovered jars of honey inside 3,000-year-old Egyptian tombs, and it was still perfectly edible. No refrigeration, no preservatives, just pure honey doing what it's done since the days of the pharaohs. So the next time you're tempted to slide that honey bear into the fridge, remember, it's already a survival expert. Leave it in the pantry, sealed tight, and it'll stay ready to drizzle over biscuits, yogurt, or tea until the end of time. Sweet, eternal, and zero maintenance. Honey wins the no fridge game every time. And there you have it, 9 foods you should never refrigerate. It turns out the fridge isn't the universal hero we think it is. While it keeps milk, cheese, and leftovers safe, some of our favorite kitchen staples just don't belong in there. From tomatoes that lose their juicy sweetness to bread that turns stiff overnight, the cold can quietly rob foods of their flavor, texture, and nutrients. By keeping these 9 items where they truly belong, on the counter, in your pantry, or tucked safely in a cool, dark cupboard, you'll taste the difference almost immediately. Your garlic will stay punchy, your coffee aromatic, your bananas perfectly creamy, and your oils smooth and golden. Even better, you'll waste less food and save money over time, all by letting your fridge take a little break. Think of it as giving your ingredients their ideal home. Nature designed honey to last for centuries without chilling, potatoes to thrive underground, and onions to stay dry and crisp in the open air. The secret isn't fancy equipment, it's just understanding what each food really needs. So before you automatically pop something into the fridge just to be safe, take a second to think twice. Sometimes the best flavor lives outside the cold zone. If you found this countdown helpful, give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more smart kitchen and travel tips. Keep your counters cozy, your fridge uncluttered, and your food at its flavorful best. Because the truth is simple, some foods are happiest when they're left out in the warm world, just like us. Thanks for watching. Share this video with a friend who keeps putting everything in the fridge, even bread. Until next time, keep your kitchen organized, your food flavorful, and your sense of humor fresh. Stay cool, but not too cool.